During the past years of pandemic, individuals and institutions had to adapt and quickly look for ways to continue their pursuit for education. Educational institutions, including Jose Rizal University in particular, implemented effective ways of continuing to educate students through an acceptable teaching strategy. The university has adopted a widely accepted learning management system, the blended learning system HyFlex, introduced to the members of the academic divisions. It is a mix of hybrid and flexible systems, an instructional model that combines a flexible course structure and hybrid learning that gives the students the option to attend classes in person, online, or both based on their preference or in accordance with applicable guidelines both institution and government. Beatty initially presented the HyFlex concept in 2006. As a method of dealing with physical space limitations while still accommodating all students, HyFlex is a multimodal learning strategy that tries to develop a highly adaptable approach that helps students achieve better course outcomes. HyFlex teaching is the new blended learning approach which primarily substitutes physical sessions for some students with digital synchronous learning. The HyFlex teaching technique combines digital asynchronous learning with flexible synchronous learning, in which students can choose to attend face-to-face, digitally synchronously, or digitally asynchronously via videos and recordings. In order to achieve flexible participation, students may choose when, where, and how they consume instructional materials using HyFlex learning.
The HyFlex learning method was used by Jose Rizal University this school year 2022 to 2023. The workload of the professor increased because of the situation. The professors will have to teach both physically and virtually at the same time. The professors have to put extra effort to provide all the learning materials needed for the students that will attend the class virtually. The professors being guided and being trained on various aspects of hybrid, blended, and virtual learning are continuously finding challenges on how to meet everyday tasks and to make sure that the students are able to cope up without falling behind their lessons due to possible increased loads. When teaching both physically and virtually at the same time, the professors' and students' attention are divided. It is challenging because the professors will not know if the students are still engaged in the class. Despite the experience the hybrid learning, educators are faced with issues in determining how to tackle everyday tasks in order to ensure that students do not fall behind while not exhausting themselves with higher workloads. Whereas, the HyFlex approach allows for both in-person and virtual learning. Students lead on the important social component of education due to social distance. The social contacts with classmates and professors were a primary reason for insisting on HyFlex lessons, with a portion of the students physically attending the class. The researchers conducted this study to know the significant relationship of HyFlex strategy to learning experiences. This study will show how HyFlex strategy will affect the student engagement and performance during classes. The purpose of this research is to identify the challenges and learning experiences of students at Jose Rizal University. The researchers aim to come up with findings and recommendations that may be deemed realistic and feasible and be made applicable to facilitate student learning. 4 more concepts are given to evaluating both the advantages and disadvantages of HyFlex in relation to JRU students' learning experiences as well as its benefits and drawbacks.
Statement of the problem. Number 1. What is the profile of the participants involved in the study? Gender, age, and curriculum year. Number 2. What are the challenges encountered in HyFlex strategy by the participants in the study? Advantages of HyFlex strategy, disadvantages of HyFlex strategy. Number 3. What is the effect of HyFlex strategy to the participants' learning experience in terms of benefits of HyFlex strategy, drawbacks of HyFlex strategy, student engagement using HyFlex strategy? Number 4. Is there a significant relationship between HyFlex strategy and the learning experience of the participants?
This study aims to know the challenges and learning experiences of students in HyFlex learning in Jose Rizal University. This section synthesizes related literature and studies elaborated in this chapter. Due to COVID-19, school institutions were forced to stop face-to-face classes all over the Philippines. And for less than 3 years, DepEd used the distance and blended modes of learning to address the problem. One of the strategies is the HyFlex strategy. The HyFlex model are derived from the word hybrid and flexible. HyFlex learning includes online classes, printouts, and lessons delivered through television and social media platforms. And to ensure learning continuity, the Department of Education or DepEd in the Philippines has used distant learning modalities that involve technology and internet connection. Students can thus continue their education in remote settings via online or offline platforms, television and radio, and printed modules. The same definition can be derived from Lego. According to him, individualized instruction is used to teach learners how to use self-learning modules in print or digital form or electronic copy, depending on the learner's needs. The same as Diag Bill, he stated that given the face-to-face communication is not possible during the pandemic, teachers may consider flexible distant learning options such as correspondence teaching, module-based learning, project-based learning, and television broadcast. Under the Commission on Higher Education or CHED, universities and colleges have also utilized flexible learning systems. According to CHED, flexible learning ensures the continuity of inclusive and accessible education when the use of traditional modes of teaching is not feasible, such as in the event of national emergencies. De Vera stated, colleges and universities have the freedom to choose the method which would be most efficient for them. School institutions that have already begun their in-classroom setup have implemented safety guidelines such as mandatory face mask use, temperature check, and proper sanitation. Hand washing stations are among the facilities in school that are designed in line with the health and safety protocols for the safe resumption of classes during the COVID-19 pandemic.
There are many difficulties that the educators have encountered in implementing blended learning. Lack of knowledge in technology is one of the issues. Educators must improve their digital literacy and competence. Every educator must blend to stay advantageous in their field. Other difficulties they encountered is finding a modality that works, and they face significant challenges in their planning, implementation, and assessment system. Many aspects of learning are covered, including the use of learning management system, bandwidth utilization and quality, lesson format and design, content resources, lesson delivery, hardware requirements, communication channels, web conferencing, collaboration opportunities, and storage of students' lessons, outputs, and grades. These challenges will determine how to properly train the educators in flexible learning. They must be provided the training and learn all the necessary skills to adapt to flexible learning and deliver the most effective and efficient education. There are still many issues in this strategy, LAC 2021. According to him, access is a significant issue, particularly in rural areas, lack of internet connectivity, and varying demand for usage of technology at home. Mobile hotspots have been offered by schools, class packs have been mailed, and instructive presentation aired on regional PBS stations have been given to the students and families so that they can still participate in the class. Because of Zoom and Google Meet, experts all over the world can now participate in online classes, and presentations can be recorded for viewing by the students. This kind of innovation helped students to adopt online learning. As a result, it is now possible to effectively serve students of all ages. The next generation of online education can transition from a business that primarily serves adult students in higher education. According to Doyle, 2019, HyFlex can be divided into two groups. the alternated face-to-face instruction, and face-to-face only students. The 13-person HyFlex cohort was divided into two groups that alternated between 6 and 7 students. For creating an equitable classroom rotation, it was essential to be aware of the diversity of gender, class, race, and ethnicity. Busta 2021 also said that HyFlex can be taught in at least two different ways, which is online and in person. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, it resulted for creating and analyzing different methods for teaching in higher education, Dana et al. 2022. Wright 2018 said that students require flexibility which the HyFlex offers. With this strategy, more children served and their educational requirements met by ACED, excellent standards of quality education. The HyFlex method enables students to study where and whenever they prefer. According to Rhodes 2022, his study suggested that schools could use HyFlex course as a possible program because according to his study, similar learning and satisfaction are obtained in both regular and HyFlex courses. The research paradigm is the flow of the study to be performed. This study will use the input, process, and output system approach. The input consists of the following: gender, age, curriculum year, advantages and disadvantages of HyFlex strategy, benefits, drawbacks, and students' engagement of using HyFlex strategy. And the process includes the demographic profile of the respondents, describes the challenges of using HyFlex strategy, and statistical treatment and analysis of data. The output is the student's satisfaction and learning experience in using HyFlex strategy.
The research methodology. This chapter describes the research method used and the operational framework of the research, specifically population sampling scheme, respondents description, instrument used, data gathered procedure, and statistical treatment of data.
This study will use the descriptive method. The researcher will use questionnaires in gathering respondents' assessment in challenges and learning experiences of students in HyFlex strategy. The purpose of a descriptive method is to characterize the features and behavior of a sample population. It is an efficient approach of gathering data that may be used to generate hypotheses and suggest relationships. This approach will collect all the data for detailed analysis, so this will provide an idea on how students assess the challenges and learning experiences of HyFlex strategy in Jose Rizal University.
Population and sample. The researcher will use the random sampling method where respondents are randomly selected. That will focus on the students from Jose Rizal University. When it comes to the distribution of respondents, we will have 25 males and 25 females with a total of 50 respondents.
In this study, the researchers performed different procedures in gathering the data. These are the following steps. Study the variables from the paper and locate the possible problems. From locating the possible problems, the researchers conducted a brainstorming in constructing the questionnaire. The researchers made a Google form for the questionnaire. In the span of 2 days, the researchers gathered all the 50 respondents to answer the survey questionnaire, tabulated statistical weighted mean, and correlation of the indicators that came from the variables. The researchers created the findings, conclusions, and recommendations based on the computed weighted mean and interpretation of data of all the indicators from the survey questionnaire.
The survey questionnaire created with Google Forms is chosen by the researchers as a data instrument for the study. The survey questionnaire includes 3 sections with a variety of questions. The first part will determine the demographic profile of the respondents, which are gender, age, and curriculum year. The second part of the questionnaire determines the challenges encountered in HyFlex strategy by providing the advantages and disadvantages. The third part determines the effects of the HyFlex strategy to the participants' learning experiences.
To interpret the data, the researchers tabulated and calculated the gathered data. To interpret and present the result, the researchers used the following statistical treatment of data.
Frequency and percentage. The responses of the respondents are presented according to the variables included in the survey questionnaire, such as gender, age, and curriculum year. It was computed by dividing it with the total numbers of respondents who participated in the survey, where P is equal to percentage, F is equal to the number of responses for every item, and N is equal to the total number of respondents. Weighted mean. To determine the average response of the questions provided in the survey questionnaire per section, the method used in conjunction with the Likert scale, where WM is equal to weighted mean, F is equal to frequency of score, X is equal to raw score, and N is the total number of respondents. Likert scale accurately measured the degree to which the respondents agree or disagree to the questions given. Correlation ratio. The researchers used the correlation ratio to determine the significant relationship between HyFlex strategy and learning experience of the respondents, where N is equal to the number of ordered pairs, Xi is equal to the value of independent T variable, and Yi is equal to the value of dependent variable.